I'm Eric Peterson, and welcome to Tales from the Alpine. Today I'm at the Lloyd Mackay Hut, nestled 2,700 meters above sea level. For you Americans, that's about 8,900 feet elevation. To my left stands Mount Alberta, named after Princess Alberta. I'm not sure why she was chosen to be the namesake of this mountain, but if she was anything like it, she was difficult, dangerous, and took great pleasure in denying Swiss guides and Canadian mountaineers. It would seem, however, that she had an affinity for Japanese climbers. Of the 50-plus most notable peaks in the Canadian Rockies over 11,000 feet, Mount Alberta is unanimously known as one of the most difficult by a clear margin. It was the last of its kind to be climbed, finally conquered decades later after all of the other most notable peaks by a small team of Japanese climbers in 1925. To add to its challenge and mystique, Mount Alberta can't be seen from the Parkway. One must find their way up what is often a multi-day slog, ending with a ski slope that is described as downright repugnant. Although my opinion probably doesn't mean much, I tend to agree. Today I'm going to tell you one of the many tales of Mount Alberta. These are real stories written by brave and delirious women and men, firmly standing in the depth of their own madness. It's a pursuit of the impossible and the mundane, climbing lovely and repugnant piles of rock in the Canadian Rockies. Take these words with a considerable helping of salt, as their truth is no more reliable than the footing found when climbing them. For each story that sounds too fantastic to be real, there is another that doesn't even begin to describe the heart-pounding danger and moments on the edge of mortality that the penholder and their certifiably insane friends have experienced. The truth lies somewhere in the void between the airy summits of these mountains and the stars above. Fantastic or not, these are the stories of the people who dare to breach the space between the earth and the heavens, where the line beyond reality blurs into feats most will only dream of. These are the tales from the Alpine. August 5th, 2001. You are reading the words of a damn fool. On the way over the woolly shoulder, very near the top, I grabbed onto a very large rock which appeared to be firmly attached, but once I put my full weight on it, it gave way. The boulder and I went head over heels down the slope and over a 10-foot ledge. I was cut and bleeding from the top of my head and face down to the top of my boots. Basically, I just hurt all over. But worse was a severe blow to my left kneecap, maybe cracked in brackets. Having no other option, I struggled over the top of the shoulder and to the hut. It took several hours for me to reach the hut, racked with pain and near exhaustion. Thank God for the hut. It was cold with a freezing drizzle, and just to be out of the wind and rain was great. Upon entering the hut, I had all I could do just to unpack my sleeping bag and crawl inside it. I got very little sleep despite my exhaustion due to the pain. It's now August 7th. My left knee is very swollen. I can barely limp, let alone walk. Just getting out of bed to collect water is a major ordeal. I don't expect anyone to search for me until August 13th. Again, thanks for the hut. My plans to hike to the Athabasca River up to the Columbia Glacier, cross the river, and explore some of the area on the other side are dashed for now. But being the fool I am, I plan to come back and finish my trip. Dan Erger, Iowa, age 50. P.S. This sure isn't Iowa. August 9th, 2011. I'm embarrassed and angry with myself for being so foolish and stupid to injure myself merely walking to the hut. Perhaps I should avoid in the future chewing gum while hiking. There is hardly a cloud to be seen this morning, and yesterday was as fine. Yet I'm stuck here in this hut with such great sights so close that I have yet to see, but beyond my grasp. I can only wonder at the sights that I should be witnessing on this fine day. The Twins, Mount Columbia, the headwaters of the Athabasca. My major treks are now limited to the outhouse and the closest snow to collect water. Thankfully, those treks are only slow and difficult now, not the ordeal they were a few days ago. Except for my left knee, my injuries seem to be healing fine without infection. I still have some swelling in my hands and pain in my chest cavity with certain movements, but nothing serious. My left knee and leg, however, are still swollen and painful, in brackets, although not quite as bad as a couple of days ago, close brackets. As of late yesterday afternoon, my knee was still oozing blood, but I think the bleeding has finally stopped. My wildest hopes of being able to walk out to the highway by the 12th seems very unrealistic now. Since I'm expected to be back on the 12th, I assume a search will be started on the 13th, and that one of the first places that they'll look for me is at the hut. Meanwhile, I'll try to use my emergency signal mirror to alert the low-flying aircraft. This will be a good test to see if it has been worth carrying this $10 gadget on my hikes all these years. I'll do my best to keep this hut as clean as possible, but please forgive me if you find it not quite as clean as it should be. Dan Erger. It's been a week since my injury. My injuries are still mending and I feel much better than I did a few days after the fall. My left knee is still swollen and very sore, however. I can only walk to collect snow with great care and use of my walking stick. It would not be possible for me to walk to the parkway today. In addition, my ribs are still very painful and my hands still have some swelling. Sleep remains sporadic and uneasy. I'm ready to finally get out of here tomorrow, I hope. I'm getting around a little bit better now, so I think you'll find the hut cleaner than when I arrived. I look forward to returning under better circumstances. Dan Erger. August 13th, 2001, 4:30 p.m. Clear skies all day. As usual, I slept very little last night. My chest, ribs, and legs are still very sore and make sleep all but impossible. I was up well before dawn and packed up my gear, finished getting the hut in good order, and awaited my expected searchers. No help has arrived, however. I have not seen anything to lead me to believe that a search has commenced. I don't know what conclusions to draw other than something bad has happened to my parents, which prevented them from alerting the Park Service that I failed to return on the 12th as expected. I can walk around the hut okay, where it is level and I don't have to bend my left knee or put any pressure on my leg except just to hold me upright. Walking to collect snow or to the outhouses, however, is much more difficult. I have almost no strength in my left knee, and the pain is intense if I bend it. Nevertheless, I am bracing myself mentally for a walk to the parkway. I managed to crawl and limp to the hut the night of my fall, so I guess I somehow will find the strength and determination needed to reach the parkway. I have enough food to last through tomorrow. Luckily, there was a little food in the hut when I arrived, so I'll stay here one more day in hopes of a rescue tomorrow, or in any event, to give me one more day to heal a little more. I don't think I can postpone my walk to the parkway any further, since the walk will be difficult enough without waiting until I'm weakened further by hunger. I doubt that I can carry my backpack, so I'll have to make it to the parkway in one day. Even if I could carry my pack, I fear if I stop partway that my knee would swell severely over the night and make the second day of walking all the more difficult, if not impossible. I'm still holding out hope that help will arrive later today or tomorrow. Nevertheless, I can't help but fear the ordeal of walking to the parkway. If need be, however, I know I'll make it. I refuse to fail. Dan Erger. And that's the end of his story. Did he make it? Who knows? If you know something about this story, I'd love to hear. Hit me up in the comments, and if I can get an update, I'll be sure to share it here. This is Tales from the Alpine.